Animation is often about taking things to exaggerated comedic extremes, but it can get really problematic. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 stereotypical Simpsons characters. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at various supporting characters from this iconic, highly influential series who are the most overtly rooted in stereotypes and cliches, whether racial, religious, socioeconomic, cultural, or otherwise. Number 10. Luigi Risotto. His first name is that of a Mario brother. His last name is that of a famous northern Italian rice preparation. Subtlety is not this character's strong suit.
Hey, good for you, huh?
First appearing in the Season 5 episode Sweet Seymour Skinner's Badass Song, Luigi is the chef and owner of Springfield's Italian eatery, the appropriately named Luigi's. Here's the thing though, while Luigi is a walking mishmash of Italian stereotypes, the show has made that part of the joke.
I only consider you scum compared to Krusty. Oh, well, right. I can see that, and I'll have the canola.
As it turns out, Luigi was born Lothar Folkman, and only changed his name and donned that thick Italian accent to get diners in the door. Since then, however, he seems to have really run with the persona.
He gave me a bad review, so my friend put a horse head on his bed.
Number 9. Eleanor Abernathy. Getting older can often be a lonely experience, and if your family and friends have all moved away or passed on, a pet or two can make for some much-needed company. Unfortunately, the elderly woman with a few too many cats to her name has become an all-too-familiar cliché, making it ripe for parody by The Simpsons. A woman of few words, but with an abundance of cats that she's only too happy to throw at people, Dr. Eleanor Abernathy MD JD is the quintessential crazy cat lady, though her erratic behavior might be good for a few laughs. Like real-world recluses, Abernathy is actually struggling, both with alcoholism and mental health.
But thanks to this psychoactive medication, I enjoy brief moments of lucidity. Those are just Reese's Pieces.
Number 8. Ned Flanders. Love him, or love to hate him, Ned Flanders is undeniably an important part of The Simpsons dynamic. An overly friendly, helpful, talkative, and gratingly considerate neighbor, he's the perfect foil to the Simpson family patriarch Homer and his loud-mouthed, selfish buffoonery. While the numerous Ned-centric episodes have helped flesh out this character over the years, there's no escaping the fact that he's fundamentally made up of various Christian stereotypes.
God said to Noah, there's gonna be a floody.
From his firm belief in God and the way of the Bible, to his insistence on turning the other cheek and acting charitably, he is one big, walking, talking Christian cliché.
If I could give you my heart, Homer, I would.
Shut up, Flanders.
Number 7. Akira. Well into the 21st century, it's the racially charged characters on The Simpsons that are always the hardest to swallow. And unlike the delicious sushi he serves up at the Happy Sumo restaurant, Akira does not go down smooth.
The sushi supplies a little bit of everything. It is very non-threatening.
From the thick Japanese accent to the noticeably smaller eyes, Akira's intended ethnicity is made painfully obvious from the get-go. But the fact that he's also made to work as both a server at a sushi restaurant and the sensei of a dojo is where this gets downright silly.
Hello, I am Akira. That didn't hurt very much because I know the ancient art of karate.
It's like Akira is the only Japanese person in Springfield and is thus expected to satisfy every stereotype at once. Number 6. Jeffrey Albertson. Many likely don't recognize this character by name, which says a lot about just what a cliché he is. Albertson is better known as Comic Book Guy, and since long before geek culture became mainstream, this uber nerd has served as the vessel of the showrunners and writers to poke fun at geeks.
Someone has mixed an Amazing Spider-Man in with the Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man series. This will not stand.
Overweight, socially inept, and generally disliked, Albertson has a notable chip on his shoulder and a blatant sense of superiority over others, one rooted in a belief that the pop culture content he loves is underappreciated and that those with less knowledge of such things are his inferiors. He serves as a scathing takedown of geek culture.
Now make like my pants and split.
Number 5. Fat Tony. Step aside, Luigi. You may have have successfully adopted the stylings of the quintessential pizza/pasta chef, but local mafioso and crime boss Marion Anthony D'Amico is the pinnacle of Italian stereotypes in Springfield.
Chief Wiggum, you honor us with your presence.
Speaking almost entirely in cliché lines pulled from gangster film and TV, rarely seen without a cigar, and sporting the sort of face and physique that only a wealthy mob wife could love, Fat Tony feels like one big Italian punchline. He would just never say that to his face.
We suggest you have a conversation with your husband. You have 24 hours to give us our money.
Well, if he were still with us. Number 4, Bumblebee Man. Characters like Pedro Chesperito can be made to work, but only if used to criticize the prejudices and racially charged assumptions that stem from the ignorance of the Caucasian majority.
Viva, Senor Burns! Viva!
Unfortunately, The Simpsons hasn't done much with Chesperito, better known as Bumblebee Man, other than use him for cheap laughs. In the show's defense, he's actually inspired by Roberto Gomez Bolaño's comedic TV character, El Chapulín Colorado. But since the vast majority of viewers aren't in on that joke, he's usually taken at face value, a caricature of an exaggerated, budget Spanish-language television personality.
Ay, ¿dónde está mi tequila?
Number 3, Cletus Spuckler. Cletus Delroy Spuckler is a living dictionary definition of a stereotypical redneck.
Hey, Ma, look at that pointy-haired little girl.
Thin, sleepy-eyed, rocking a bad haircut, jeans and a white wife beater, Cletus's aesthetic screams slack-jawed yokel. Then he opens his mouth or invites you back to his home, and you realize that, all things considered, his image is actually pretty tame.
Hey, kids, we're eating dinner tonight. Come on, Tiffany, Heather, Cody, Dylan, Dermot.
He's married to his own relative, Brandine, but he seems to be totally obsessed with a pig. His IQ and world knowledge appear painfully low.
Just 'cause we's afraid of using the uppity box.
He's basically every redneck stereotype imaginable cranked to 11. It would be offensive, but honestly, we hope that based on how absurd he is, no one out there can realistically identify with him.
Most folk will never lose a toe, and then again some vocal, like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
Number 2, Groundskeeper Willie. Scotland doesn't have a ton of representation in popular culture these days, and Willie ain't helping.
You used me, Skinner! You used me!
This brawny, literal caricature hasn't done the Scottish people many favors in terms of fair or flattering representation.
Saints be praised. I'm from Scotland. Where do you hail from?
He's strong, sure, but apart from that one flattering stereotype, the rest of Willie's characteristics include being angry, incomprehensible due to his thick accent, often getting drunk and occasionally wearing a kilt, and playing the bagpipes. If he were Canadian, he'd be a Mountie with 3 pet beavers riding a moose.
There's nary an animal alive that can outrun a greased Scotsman.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Do you know why you are here?
'Cause my family cares more about other people than they do about me.
Drink this liquid.
Your generosity is greatly appreciated, especially during this health inspection season.
Oh, yeah, right. Health inspection. That reminds me. Your change, sir.
Number 1, Apu Nahasapima Pedalon.
Think you'll come again.
The friendly owner of the Quickie Mart is without a doubt the most high-profile and controversial character on The Simpsons when it comes to stereotypical representations. An Indian immigrant with a heavy accent, who's actually voiced by white actor Hank Azaria, Apu has become something of a lightning rod for conversations about race and stereotypes in The Simpsons, with many calling him an obviously racist caricature.
I cannot deny my roots, and I cannot keep up this charade.
He actually inspired a feature-length documentary, The Problem with Apu, which dives deep into the insidious nature of prejudice. Given the controversy, his role on the show has seemingly been minimized in recent seasons.
Must you dump on everything we do? He is the benevolent, enlightened president and CEO of Quickie Mart and in Ohio, Stapomart.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.